So I'd like to introduce a new friend of DLD, Ekaterina Gaika, who comes from Moscow.
Moscow,
and,
Russia.
Russia. So
hello, everyone.
Hello, everybody. And we just had the...
Thank you, Orly.
I need to tell you something now. You may have seen that we switched the programs a little bit. Now it's a surprise program, basically.
I'm not going to be dancing or singing, just like a previous speaker,
yeah.
so, but bear with me.
So actually, and Ollie, we had a chance being in Moscow visiting you, because you're actually doing...
Orly usually do all the singing,
wonderful.
Of course.
Actually, Katia, introduce who you are, what you do, and we thought it's very interesting to invite you and have you speak.
Thank you very much, Marcel. Actually, I'm very happy and proud to be here. And thank you, Marcel, personally, and Orly from Oscar B. and Ruth, who's, I don't know, here or not, for inviting me. It's a very exciting moment to be in front of smart, beautiful, and talented and successful females. And thank you for having me here. So I'll talk about myself very briefly once I start the presentation. And Andreas will help me to start with presentation, and then we go with we'll start with presentation. No, with presentation. Well, can we stop this and go with presentation? So before we start, I just want to say that I want to talk about how we as females went for the last 100 years, how long have we gone? And for such, I hope, yep. So a bit less than 100 years ago, it was the beginning of the 20th century. How do I do this? Andreas, can we go one page before? Yep. So you see, our main right to vote, right to make a decision, happened in the beginning of the 20th century, not that long ago, you can see. And today, look who we are, look where we stand. And I'm very proud to live in such times when we can make our own mistakes, when we can make our own decision, when we can make our own life happen. And this is Russia today. This is female power in Russia. We have about 3 very powerful females nowadays, and it's just the beginning, I believe. And talking about myself, I'm just being a product of our times, I believe. I live in 2 countries. I started in USSR, and when I was 13, the whole paradigm has changed, and the country has changed. And I decided I need to go with the times, and I dropped out of high school, started working for Federal TV channel, which was unheard of in the time of the USSR. So, and then I made an unexpected career as a photographer, and by the 19, I was working for Vogue, Marie Claire, Harper's Bazaar, had my own pages in the newspapers. But then I started feeling that it's not enough. It was too easy, I think. And I quit my career as a journalist. I went to study to Columbia University in the city of New York, got accepted, got my degree in economics, then worked as a consultant, different countries, Beirut, Dubai, New York, London, Italy, Moscow. And now I'm in Skolkovo. And now I want to show the video that we have and to tell you what Skolkovo is all about. It's a new project of Russian government. It's a so-called Silicon Valley. And I hope you will see, you get a grasp what it is about. So the main idea of the thing that I'm part of nowadays is to build a new Russia. It's to build a Russia that does not depend on oil or on raw materials, that Russia that is technological, Russia that is proud to be forward-looking. And I still hope that there's going to be a video that will work. Andreas, can we have a video now? And the sound, I hope, as well.
To the Global Innovation Center, Skolkovo. At Skolkovo, we create. At Skolkovo, we transform. At Skolkovo, science and technology go hand in hand. We give a go to the best ideas and explore the future. Join the Skolkovo team. Beyond knowledge. Created in Skolkovo.
So it was brief, but since we're all very tight on time and I have, I don't know, about 0 minutes left. So I just wanted to tell you what it is in it for you, why it might be interesting, what kind of perspectives Russian project called Skolkovo has for you. We build an ecosystem for innovators, for people who would like to go forward and who need the support of a government, support of the law, support of financial support at the end. And now we can come back to the presentation if we can, so I talk about a little bit about what Skolkovo is all about. So you probably cannot read here, but I'll tell you. So our current president, Medvedev, who I'm a big fan of, decided that future of Russia is his main purpose. And to change the future, to make it new, to make it exciting, is one of his big things to do. And he created the Skolkovo project. Yeah. So what is it all about? Skolkovo is 5 main directions that president decided that are the most interesting, the most exciting for the future. It's informational technologies, it's energy efficiency, it's nuclear energy, it's what else? It's biomed and telecom. I'm a part of information technologies, so if you have any questions about where information technologies in Russia are going to be at in 5-10 years, please ask your questions, talk to me later. So financial terms, what is all about? So how much money we devote for that? As you can see, it's about $3 billion Russian government allocated for the purpose of building Skolkovo. What Skolkovo is going to be? It's going to be a city, a place on the map, right near Moscow, our capital, where there will be a university, a technopark, a living area, schools, restaurants, etc. And as you can see, we started work about 8 months ago. In September, the law was created. I got hired in November. So basically, they steal me, they snatched me from wherever work I was doing in Dubai, Beirut, and New York, and all other places. They said, this is the future. They want to be part of it. I said, yes, this is exactly where I want to be. And now this is what we've done. We attracted about 100, actually we've seen through about 500 different projects in 5 different areas. And we already funded about 30 of those. And 100 projects receive a status of a participant of Skolkovo, which means that those companies, they have a special taxation laws, they have special support, they have PR, and they have all the amenities that will be at the Skolkovo when it's going to be built. And so what do we have here? And we believe that this project going to have a huge, it should have a huge impact. We don't know what it's going to be like. We don't know where we're going to be at in 2012, which is the most important year in the near future of Russia, when we will have next president elections. And if you don't know, I don't know if you know the whole mystery of the election process in Russia, but nobody can really say what's going to happen. Is it going to be number 1, number 2, or number 3? And who's going to be number 3? Nobody really knows. But nonetheless, we believe that if we're going to start, if we're going to continue, something's going to change. And even that something is enough for us. And these are the main phases that we're going to go through. So the first building going to be erected in 2014. Then it's going to be university. And then it's going to be the whole infrastructure. As of now, we live in a, as we call it, virtual Skolkovo. So there is nothing yet, nothing built yet, but we exist. We produce different, we have different projects. We have TV shows, we participate in different conferences. We actually plan to have a DLD conference in November in Moscow, and it's gonna be one of our most exciting projects, I believe, up to date. So please ask your questions, and please be part of a future of Russia. Thank you very much.
Katia,
was I quick?
That was quick and spicy, and I think really great what you do.
And by the way, yes, today, just talking about female power. Today I got the Wall Street Journal in the morning, just, you know, to spice up my breakfast. And guess who became the first woman at IMF helm? I mean, who's going to be the next chairman? It's going to be a woman again. Yes, exactly. Congrats. We're getting there.
Oh, thank you. So I call now on stage, thank you, Christine Aylward. Christine, thank you. Who also comes with a, do you have a mic? So Christine, also we got to know each other. You're from California now, you're coming from San Francisco. And you also start something new. And we thought this session is about starting something new by women in women markets. And maybe Christine, you introduce yourself a little bit about yourself and also about the company. I find a wonderful company. You just started the last year, actually, and we're happy that you're with us tonight.
Thank you, Marcel.
Enjoy.
Hi, everyone. And Marcel, thank you so much for including me and my company Making Of here. It's really wonderful to be around so many incredible women. Let me first, So I'm going to quickly give you an overview of what we're doing with the company I founded called Making Of, and then show you a little movie, which kind of brings it all to life. These people on the right here are actors, and these are directors, screenwriter, and there's someone that these people all need to reach on the other side, and that's fans. So Making Of is basically, we're building the hub that connects entertainment creators. Right now we're focused on movies, to fans, but in ways never done before across multiple platforms. So everywhere people consume content. And there are two themes that are the themes of DLDwomen, which is authenticity and innovation, that I'll talk with you about, that are very much core to our business. So the Making Of, just to give you a little history of the Making Of, my co-founder is Natalie Portman, and she is an actress in the States. She just won the Oscar for Best Actress last year. She and my background's Silicon Valley and big business. I started my life working for a Swiss-German pharmaceutical company called Hoffmann-La Roche, and then worked for a French pharmaceutical company, and then went to Silicon Valley and started in the Silicon Valley world, but at the same time had a little film development company. So I was on a movie set in Madrid, and that is my daughter, who was with Natalie, and my daughter's here at this conference as well. And that's us in the makeup trailer. And this is Madrid, where we met. And Natalie and I had this idea to do a digital business, but timing-wise, it was horrible timing. We literally signed our incorporation paperwork, and I had a big job offer from another company, and the market crashed completely, and all of our money went away. And the reason I incorporate this little message in here is that I think we had to take a big step back and decide, was this the right time for us to do this business? And there were a few factors that came into play. And it was all about the willingness to take risk. So one was the fact that there really had not yet been the combination of deep Silicon Valley experience combined with very deep LA relationships and that kind of side of the business. So we knew that we had that. We knew that we had a powerful combination. The second was that we also had Kevin Huvane, who runs creative artist agencies and personally represents Oprah and Brad Pitt and Sandra Bullock and Meryl Streep. And so we kind of knew that we had these little dots. And there were a few other things we knew also. There were many pains and problems that people in the industry were facing. The first was that there was no trust, and this is what filmmakers deal with on a daily basis. It's all about, it's the paparazzi, it's the invasion of privacy, most of the media outlets focus kind of on the gossip and the snarky side of entertainment. And that's exactly what we do, what we're not. We're not the TMZs. So we're all about delivering authentic stories, filmmaker stories to fans, and moving the conversation away from gossip to the heart and soul of the industry. The other pain problem was the fact that DVD revenue was gone. Netflix was, the film industry actually really kind of was caught by surprise as it relates to DVD revenues. The revenue just went away completely. And the iPads changed everything. Mobile technologies has changed everything. When we started the business, the iPad didn't exist. But the ability to deliver dynamic video content is changing everything in the landscape. And so studios are looking for innovative partners to help them lead the way. They're not necessarily leading the way in the digital space. So this is Making Of, and right now I'm just going to give you a little glimpse of kind of what we do through a movie. I'm going to cut it short, though, so I'll at some point just fast forward to the next slide.
I remember when I first started acting when I was a kid, and you would make a movie, and you would be somebody's daughter or somebody's something, and so you build up this family unit, and I didn't understand, and then it dissipates, it goes away, and it used to be so devastating to me when I was a kid. I would just feel so much loss that these people that I spent so much time with for 3 months, and they said that they loved me and that they would see me again, they never saw me again. And it was hard, that coming and going, and hello, goodbye, all in a circle. And it just felt like all these disparate, pseudo families, spread over the world, and there was no interconnectedness. And all I really wanted after that was to be a troupe, a circus performer. That you would that there was there were things that didn't fall away, you know. And as I get older, I realize like it is more and more like that, and you know, there are friendly faces, and you do, you know, ultimately, like to me, my ultimate goal is just to be like to work with the same people, like, and to have like that kind of trust, and that you've seen each other change, and that you're ready to change to like the next level with each other. Like I'd like to join a circus.
Well, we had this idea that we would do the film in as reductive a way as we could, so that there was no exterior work, or virtually none, of other people or the landscapes. You went into that canyon with him, and just like he gets stuck and he can't move, you're stuck with him.
Yes, it's so funny. My grandmother took me to go see a play when I was like 6 years old. And I remember before we got there, she had said, now this is professional play. I mean, this is what they do for a living. This is their job. Thinking, okay, that's interesting. And then we were in the theater, and the lights came up, and it started on this little girl who was probably 10 years old, and she was opening a book and reading. And I just remembered at that moment, I just thought, well, this is my job. Like, it just like kind of clicked in. Like, wow, this articulates everything that I knew I was going to be. So I kind of always knew I was going to be an actor. I just didn't know how it was going to happen. But yeah, it's my grandma.
It's not anything in particular. I like the idea of, for me, a lot of my decisions are based on just like casting. You know, I think movies are so much about casting, and I think the opportunity to either introduce new people or the opportunity to get two people together, like Robert Downey and Zach in this movie.
He's the director.
I get
of The
excited
Hangover
by the casting
also.
potential
Hangover
and working
Part
with
2.
actors and that kind of thing. There's not really elements that a movie has to have to get me interested in thinking about directing it. It's more kind of a slower and more organic process. I mean, Due Date came about very quickly since The Hangover, but it was something I'd been working on for a couple of years. Just at my company, we have a few projects, and you know, so there's always stuff brewing around. And I was making The Hangover, and suddenly I thought, God, I want to find something else for Zach. And I'm looking through the things we've been working on, you know.
I think it was difficult to shoot, but it was also a lot of fun to make. We got to make it in a way that you never get to make movies. It was like a dream, you know? Like, well, you got to wake up on camera. Okay, well, go to bed, and we'll sleep here tonight, and we'll set up cameras, and then we'll just all sneak in the morning and roll, and you'll wake up.
My first films with Super 8 were all playtime.
Okay,
I mean,
I'm going to
they were
stop
really,
here
it
just
was
because
just,
we're on a little bit of a time crunch. There's a great one with Sean Penn, but I'm skipping it. Show Sean Penn? Okay, he's the next one. Let's see if we could do this. Can you, I think you could just hit space and it should show Sean. Oh, it doesn't, sorry. He's on the homepage right now. If you look, you'll see Sean Penn. And it was actually really nice because Sean Penn doesn't do interviews, but he did over an hour-long interview with us. The first half we released focused on acting, and the second half focused on directing and writing. And it's literally like close up. It's a really, he was so incredibly generous with his time. So anyhow, we started the business about 2 years ago, and as I said earlier, it was right when the market crashed, and we've just been plugging along. And today, we have a channel on Virgin America. We sit in between Disney and CNN, which is a making of channel. We just did a big deal with Google. We are working with every major studio in LA. We work with all the publicists, the managers, the agents. And I think what's been great is that we've been very focused in terms of not changing our mission of focusing on the art and the craft and the authentic content around the creation. And we are talking to a bunch of content syndication partners in Germany, thank you to Marcel, and so hopefully we'll soon be able to see us in your local German market as well. And that's that. Oops, sorry, and then I just have my contact information up here. Thank you.
Bravo. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great company, isn't it? We really like it. We're looking forward to see more of Making Of. May you bring it to Europe. Thank you for coming.
Thank you, Marcel.
I'd like to call on stage Juliet Warkentin. I'd like to call on stage now Juliet Warkentin. And you come from London now.
do. I'm
Yeah.
Canadian, but I've lived in London for about 20 years, so
20
I
years.
probably count as British.
Also, just reading about you, what you all did already was very impressive. But
I'm a little bit of a tart. I've done lots of different things, but this particular project pulls it all together.
yeah,
So
and the new project is called Stylist Pick.
it is indeed.
And who reads about the new kind of startups, the new kind of real interesting companies in digital and fashion and in Europe will find Stylist Pick. And so we are very happy you as a
No, thank you so
founder
much.
with us. And you explain to us what is, and maybe also what brought you to this very interesting idea.
Fantastic,
Thank
I
you.
will. And I'm going to watch the timer to make sure that we don't go too long. I'm up on that one. Okay. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to take you through who we are and what we do. I'm going to talk a little bit about the numbers and explain why we went into the business that we decided to go into. I'm going to talk about subscription model as an entry point into e-commerce and why it's so different. And then I'm going to talk about social fashion brands. And I'm going to talk actually about Facebook and in how important it is to a model like ours. To the investor world, we are the UK's market-leading subscription-based digital fashion brand. We launched in November of last year online, and we are backed by 2 VCs, one in the US and one in the UK, Index and Excel, and it's a wonderful honor for us to be backed by 2 such powerful VCs. It started very small, and we're going through a lot of growth right now. So as we move forward, you'll see if you start following us that we're moving quite quickly. We are, to the customer, their monthly accessory fashion fix, the source for must-have accessories and shoes, and your online personal stylist. And I'm going to explain a little bit about what that means in a moment. That's what our homepage is going to look like. This is a sneak peek because this is July, so we're dropping this in on Friday. But you can see that it's a very democratic brand. It's very accessible, and our ambition is to be in the big mass market retail space. So it's very, very much about talking to the mass and giving people who are shoe addicts what they love. We also do bags, and we'll be moving into accessories. So why are we doing this? Why this product now? Well, for women, there is absolutely too little time. They love to shop, but they haven't got the time to be able to do it. There is too much choice out there. There's not only too much choice on what in the UK we would call the high street, but also too much choice online. And they don't know how to edit. They don't know what to do with it. They do love shopping online. You know, we've already heard some of the figures today in terms of how that works. And interestingly, their expectation of experience is much higher than it used to be. So we know that's something that we've very, very much thought about in terms of how we're going to develop this product. And the fact is, they love shoes. Women love shoes. Even if someone is dressed quite conservatively, if you have a look at their shoes, it's always an idea. You can always get a sense of the kind of mood they're in, because if it's a little sexy or if it's really fierce, you'll understand how they felt when they woke up in the morning. I've put this quote up at the bottom from a wonderful woman from the Bata Shoe Museum in Toronto. And what she really says is that women's interest in shoes is really complex. And she compares it to late 20th and early 21st century obsession for hats. As in the 20th century, because there is fashion that is attainable for most women. And I think that that's incredibly important in terms of what we want to do. And I can't really talk about it without showing you some of the shoes. So that's a little bit of what we do and what we create. We create all of this ourselves. So this is an own brand. It's quite different from the Net-a-Porters of the world, which are all about bringing branded merchandise. This is about us creating our own product and selling it through to quite a wide customer base. Okay, so why did we go into this business in the first place? Well, the total UK e-commerce market size in 2010 was £58.8 billion. Fashion e-commerce is expected to grow to £6.9 billion in 2015. And over 2/3 of UK consumers aged 14 plus, that is 26 million people, bought something online at least once a month last year. And on top of that, the UK footwear industry is growing in size on a regular basis, and it's growing exponentially in comparison to everything else. So it's very, very useful for us in terms of where we want to go. If you go on as a customer, what you've discovered is that we are basically a shoe of the month club for women. So you pay $39.95, and then once you're there, you get 6 shoes that are chosen for you every month by a series of stylists, and you can see them here down that grid, who are picking them for you. And basically they're segmented into 3 types. So there's a modern classic customer, there's a glam customer, and there's an edgy customer. There's always going to be something in there for everyone, but the most important piece is that this has been chosen by stylists in the UK market for people so that they feel more comfortable. So how does it work? There's 2 sides of this story. From a customer point of view, what we do is we use a great editorial technique that women love in magazines. We ask them to take a quiz. Out of that quiz, we understand exactly what category they're going to fit into. And then based on their style profile, as I said, they get 6 pairs of shoes. You can pick a pair of shoes, or you can skip a month. You can buy 2 at a time if you want. You can always buy more, or you can hold on to it. But it just means that people start to feel comfortable, and they start to feel as if they fall into the pattern of it. From a business point of view, the reason why we have such fantastic backers is because we have fantastic cash flow. It's high, it's predictable, and it allows for fast revenue growth. We have a customer who's very regular. Because of the fact that she comes back month after month, we don't have to go out and market to her every month, which is absolutely fantastic. And because we're only putting out 18 pairs of shoes every month, it means the stock inventory is low. From a fashion point of view, that's a massive, massive, massive benefit. The fact that you're not holding too much stock is wonderful from a backing point of view. But it does mean, from a business point of view, that our buyers and stylists have to get it right every single month. Cannes Lions Festival of Creativity was on last week, and there was a wonderful quote that came from BBH, a wonderful ad agency in the UK, that said, "By providing difference, we create enduring memories that translate to sales and loyalty. The social web truly rewards difference. Today, it's all about earning it, not about buying it." And I think that we are exceptionally passionate about that. We do describe ourselves as a social media fashion brand. That means that we talk to our customers every day, every hour. We talk to them through Facebook, on blogs, on Twitter. We bring them into the conversation. They are much as part of our brand as we are part of that brand. And in fact, that is the way that we will grow. It's the way that people find us, and it's the way that people communicate. And it's all about girlfriend power. Because if you find it, you always pass it on to someone else and you move it around. That's just the way this model works. So, just a few takeaways from me in terms of what we've learned. We've learned that differentiation is incredibly important in this market. You have to really have a strong product. The customer can get bored so quickly. So we're always, always, always trying to move it on, and they crave that edited choice. They want their lives made easier. We do think of ourselves as a fashion brand first, not necessarily an e-commerce brand. And we are building a brand, not just a platform. So it's very, very important that the storytelling that we do builds and builds and builds and builds. We're very content rich, and we're going to become much, much more content rich. We're going to take that content, we're going to hold it on the site, and then we're going to push it out to the social media. So we will never just hold it. We will never be greedy about it. We will always be generous, and we will always push it out. We've hired serious, experienced staff across everything. From a startup point of view, that makes life so much easier because they've been there, they've done it, they've survived, they've failed, they've been through ups and downs, and it means that they hit the ground running when they're doing complicated projects. And we've got an efficient business model. And those 3 brand pillars of fashion, authority, edited choice, and entertainment mean that hopefully we'll have a coherent whole for our customer. So with that, I've sped through, make sure that we actually have time for everyone else, and say us a little bit on Stylist Pick. Thank you so much.
Juliet, thank you very much. I know you're very busy. Thank you.
Pleasure,
Thank you.
absolute pleasure.
And
who am I handing over to?
You hand it over to Jessica.
I think
actually,
there's a bit of a ritual going on
Insalaco
here.
of Hello, how are you? I introduce you. I take it. Yeah, thank you. So Jessica Insalaco, you are...
Yes, I'm here from Manila.
Where do you come from now?
New York.
New York. So it's international. Thank you.
Yes,
Doing the
absolutely.
long travel.
Yep.
And you also, actually, Jessica, you are in the core team of the CMO of Manila.
Yep.
Which is a new service, which
That's
is
right.
a new company that we also felt is really interesting.
Thank you
And
very
also
much. I'm
how
excited to
you
show
do
it to you.
We know that time is a little bit tight, but I think one of your value propositions is to
Saving
be
time.
efficient.
Absolutely.
So the floor is to Manila.
I will get this done in 7 minutes or less. And the only thing I want to give as a gift, I don't know any yoga people any yoga yoginis. Just do this, and this will officially have been a Bikram class. Namaste. You got your Bikram done for the day. So you're gonna fold that for me? So Manila is a free personal account management service that we just launched into beta in New York for US customers. And what we're doing is changing the paradigm that people have with their service providers and accounts like insurance and cell phone and all the stuff you have to manage, and changing that paradigm along with some other sort of old antiquated paradigms in the US. We've seen a lot of innovation in shopping and gaming and so on, but nothing really in the business and consumer space. That's what Manila's all about. In the US, consumers are really overwhelmed. They probably, like everybody here, they have a lot to manage. They have family, they have business, plus they have accounts to manage to the number of 15 to 20 on average in the US, and that's just counting sort of basic accounts, not including all the many travel and reward programs or subscriptions or insurance policies or all the things that you've got to manage. The person responsible for this in the US today is we call the Chief Household Officer, and surprise, surprise, she's a woman most of the time, 70% of the time. So what we're finding is that they're overwhelmed because they're getting 35 pieces of paper mail a week. They're getting inundated with emails and spam and the new bacon in email. They're just overwhelmed with messaging, and so it's hard to stay on top of everything. So Manila's aim is to do just that, make your life a lot easier and make that management a lot faster. So the problem in the United States is actually a lot to do with paper. US citizens are only 15% paperless. So 85% of people are still getting paper documentation for all their accounts, which equals 40 billion pieces of mail every year at a cost of $30 billion to business. So it's a huge waste for consumers and businesses, and there's just no end in sight until Manila. So that's what we've created for you. So what I want to do is show you what happens. This is my account. When I log in every day, I see what mail's been delivered to me here, so I don't have to go to the post box. I don't have to wait for paper mail, which is slower. And I actually don't even have to open it if I don't want to, but it's here delivered for me. And then I also see that I've got some upcoming obligations I've got to take care of, some bills due in the next 2 weeks. It's nice to see when that's an empty box, but it rarely is. We have 4 categories currently, so household, financial, so you can see all my, all the different bills and credit cards and subscriptions and travel rewards programs that I've added so far. So I can get the high-level detail on every account right here just by clicking this button. So I know if something's due or how much I have, or if I'm going to go frequent flyer, which program I should use. And then if I want to go deeper and get some more information, like on this, let's look at my Amex bill, which is always really hideous. It tells me like what I recently paid because I was traveling a lot, or what's due. It gives me a lot of information. I can pay the bill from here. Or I can go look at it, which is nice because it makes it easy for me to give up paper and the postal service because it's delivered to me here, and it's stored and filed and organized for me, so I don't have to print a copy if I don't want to. So you can see it's my whole bill, the whole 9, all the ugly truth. But it's here, and it's organized, and I don't waste the paper if I don't have to. Then in the mail tab, there's only 2 more. Mail is all of my documents. So everything I've gotten here is organized by date. It's all the documents. I don't need a filing cabinet anymore. I don't need a shredder anymore. I don't need to file. I hate filing. I can easily sort by accounts if I want to go see what I have for a certain one and go pick that up. So it's nice for tax time. Everything's done. And then finally, reminders. These are just helpful things to keep me on track. So if I've got a bill coming due, it tells me what, when, how. I can easily click through and pay it from here. And it is delivered to me on my cell phone or in text or in email, wherever I want it, to the nag factor that I require. So it's a really simple system, Really easy to set up, takes about 5 minutes. You just click on our Add Account wizard and you select whatever accounts you have. And here, I'll just pick a few things. And I link them, and it's done. So it's really simple. We hope it's going to save a lot of valuable resources for both businesses and consumers. And we hope it's also going to save a lot of valuable resources for the environment, too, because there's a lot of waste that we hope that we can prevent. So thank you for listening to me about Manila.
Thank you. Jessica, thank you. I hope. When is Manila coming to Europe?
Soon. I know. We want to get it to Europe soon. So
Okay, so let us know and tell us first.
Yes, you bet.
So our last start woman is Raphaelle Heaf. And Raphaelle, come on floor. You, and I give you the mic that Jessica just had. Raphaelle also has a new company, and actually you just launched this company at the Venice Biennale.
Yes, basically what we did is at Venice, I was around for 6 days, walking around for 12 hours a day, adding stuff, and it's sort of our very first feature of what we're planning to do with Art Spotter.
Where do you come from?
I'm from London, based in London, been there.
So London is a really base for startups and women. So explain to us a little bit what is Art Spotter and how did you come to that idea?
Okay.
Thank you.
So, Art Spotter, well, that's my company. That's what I've left my job 6 months ago to start up. And normally when I've been talking about this, I've been telling people, okay, let's do a poll and let's find out who in this room actually goes and sees art. And I've had an amazing response. So I don't think I need to do that here because DLD is very much about art and other things. And I know there's a lot of people in the room here who really love art. So instead, I'm just going to tell you that I think that art is everywhere. I think that art is all about us. It's not just about being in a museum and seeing the art. We know that that's where the masters are, but art's on the streets. Art's in parks. And we are invited to engage and interact with the art. So how can we find out what's going on? How can we not miss seeing some of this art that's all around us and we don't even know it's there? Well, imagine you're this guy and you've just come out of a meeting, you've got half an hour left, and actually you'd really like to do something a bit different. So maybe you want to go see an exhibition, or you're meeting some friends or a hot date and you want to take her somewhere and show that you're a bit cultured and you know your thing. So that's basically what I came up with. I came up with the idea of Art Spotter, an interactive mobile art map. So now, anywhere in the world, you can find out what exhibitions and events are going on. But that's not just all that happens. We allow every single user to add to that map and add to that content. So you can add new things that are going on, open studios, add photos, add content. So we aggregate that information all over the world from everywhere, both high quality and user generated. So let's go back to this guy, and basically he's come out of his meeting, like I said, he wants to meet some people, he opens up the app, and all of a sudden, what's around him can be seen, and he can go share that, rate that, talk about it, and tell friends, post it on Facebook, and now all of a sudden, the ecosystem is broken. Suddenly, there is art all over the place, and it's accessible to everybody, and there are no barriers anymore. So it's not about the critics and what they're telling you, it's about your friends, it's about the people who have local knowledge, it's about the tourists and what they discover. So we can go and we can like art, or we can go and we can tell people and share that. And we can be more experienced about art and about what is all around us. So I'd quite like to just tell you a little bit more about what we've done with Venice. So I've created an interactive map which is embeddable anywhere, and it's continuously updated with whatever information goes up. You can basically click and see. We're incredibly accurate as well, which is what some of the paper maps have been faulted on. And add lots and lots and lots of information. So currently maybe a bit too much, but that's something we'll look at later with sort of filtering and allowing the app to be really personalized for you to help you discover things that you would really love to do. So for me, it's about looking at the art. It's not just about what you're going to be seeing through the medium of technology. There's wonderful things happening in that realm, but for me, it's about discovering the art. It's about going and seeing what's happening and being a part of it and experiencing it. And what Art Spotter will do is allow you to discover that. So if you want to go to artspotter.com, you can join up now, and the app will be available on Android and iPhone in July. Thank you very much.
So thank you.
Yeah, thank
we
you.
wish you a lot of success for that company and come back.
Yes, I will do.
Yes.
And thank you very much for having me up here.
That's super. So that was 5 new companies, 5 new starts by women. I was very happy, and that was it interesting seeing all these companies.